Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Created and illustrated by James Dean. Story by Eric Litwin. Ba-doom, boom, boom. How are you today, my friends? How are you today? I hope that you're okay, my friends. Oh, deep in my heart, I want to say, I hope that you're okay today. Boing, 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 boing. How are you? This is the Pete the Cat book that was the first Pete the Cat book I ever met. And I quite liked Pete the Cat. And as you can imagine, the primary or the main reason I really liked Pete the Cat so much was because the books have so much rhythm and music in them. And of course you know that I and you and we love to sing and be rhythmic and have fun in those ways. In fact, you'll remember, boom, boom, my buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. The egg shaker. I love this egg shaker. We haven't used the egg shaker in quite a while. I thought I had lost it, and if you'll remember, it's a thing that's very important to me, and I don't like to share it or lose it, but I didn't lose it. So shall we read the book? Let's do it! Boom, boom, boom. Pete the Cat and his 4. Not 3, not 2, not 1 groovy buttons. Now, this is also a book, as you can see, as we're looking at the beautiful splash page with all of these groovy buttons. It's a well-loved book. You can see the spine is split, and there are so many pieces of tape holding everything together. As I told you, Mr. Greg sure does love a well-loved book. Ooh, how about that deep, beautiful red paint? And then Pete the Cat in his beautiful dark bluish purplish black fur, in his groovy orange eyeballs, in his groovy yellow shirt with his 4 groovy buttons. Well, look at that. It appears as though a bird has found Pete's 4 groovy buttons. How in the world did that happen? Ooh, there's a lovely painting of the sun is out in the trees. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much he sang this song. And by the way, his thought bubble says 4. By the way, 8 in the morning, it is early. Ba-doom, boom, boom, boom. Ba-doom, boom, my buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Yes. Also, love that Pete's chair is a very deep red, and his walls are painted a very beautiful lime green. Boing! Pop! Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? I'm sure you already know. 3! 4 minus 1, that's 4. Take away 1 is 1, 2, 3. That would frustrate me. Although Pete says 3. Groovy. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. I'm not sure if Mr. Greg might have cried, but Pete did not. Pete has the attitude that buttons come and buttons go, and he kept on singing his song. Ba-doom boom, my buttons, my 3 groovy buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. Now he's out on his skateboard. Boing! Oh no! Pop! The blue one. Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? I think you know. 2. 3 minus 1, that's 3 take away 1 equals 2. Did Pete cry? Not him, goodness no. Again, I would have been crying. Buttons come and buttons go. Let's sing the song with Pete. Ba-doom boom, my 2 groovy buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. Oh, look, Pete has ice cream. Pop! Oh no! Oh, look at that groovy cat selling ice cream. Another button popped off and rolled away. A green one. How many buttons are left? 1. 2 minus 1, that is 2 take away 1 equals 1. Oh no. Remember how I talked about how well loved this book was and is? Well, there's an entire page missing. So we're going to have to create that entire page. You think we can do that? I think we can. So we notice on all of the pages where there's a number, well, not on this one, but over here there's the number, and over here we have a picture of Pete and the words, did Pete cry? So we should write that. And it's in purple, did Pete cry? So let me know what I have here. We'll get markers. And I think I'll find a black marker. And perhaps we'll do a dark blue button. And we will write, did Pete cry? Did Pete cry? That looks good, right? And then they say, goodness no. I put 2 exclamation points. Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. We'll write that in blue again. Buttons come. Sometimes I say buttons, and sometimes I say buttons. Sometimes I say the T's. Buttons come. There, I put them in. And buttons come. And buttons go. And then in black I'll put, he kept singing his song. He kept singing his song. Do you remember what that song was? You want to sing it to me so I can remember? All right, hold on. He kept singing his song. And that was, my buttons, my buttons. Right? He sings, my buttons, my 2, that's right, my 2 groovy buttons. And then he sings it again, right? My buttons, my buttons, my... That's right, 2 groovy groovy buttons. I'm like hitting that high note. You know I like doing that. And we put quotation marks around it because he actually sang it. Do you remember that? Sometimes we use quotation marks to show that something was sung. So you think I should also draw Pete's head maybe? Should I give it a shot? All right, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not going to draw all of Pete, but I'm going to try to do Pete's head. Let's see if I can get this right. Ooh, Mr. Greg is so nervous. I have never drawn Pete the cat before. Not ever in my life. Can you believe that? Well, believe it. Let's see. We got that. Is that 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. We'll make his eyes like that. And, I think I did okay with that Pete the cat. Maybe I should color him in as well, right? We'll make him his fur dark blue, and I should probably get the orange for his eyes, right? So we'll get the orange, color in his eyes, and I think I did it. I think we get to read this page. All right, here we go. 1. What do you think? Did I do okay? I think I did okay. Did Pete cry? No, if I were down to 1 button, I would be crying. But Pete says, goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept singing his song. Ba-doom boom, my 2 groovy buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. Oh, wait. I feel like, oh no. It's okay. We're going to be able to do this, right? What I'm thinking is, what do you think is happening here? That's right. It seems like Pete is at the beach. So if we have an idea, if we make Pete, I feel like we can do this. So Pete needs to have 1 button popping off of his shirt. And I feel like we can do this. So here we go. All right. Pete the cat. Goodness gracious. We're trying, buddy. We had no idea how well loved this book was. Mr. Greg sure didn't. So we're going to make Pete the cat here. And this is going to be the trickiest part, my friends. Why is it gonna be tricky, my friends? Why is it gonna be tricky? Because we've never drawn Pete the cat, my friends. Oh, I think it will be fine, and it will bring us joy, because we've made Pete the cat, my friends. All right, so we need to have Pete with 1 button popping off. So that's going to have to go ring, 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 ring. And whoop, boom. And then that'll be Pete standing there on the beach. All right. Peter the cat. And then we'll draw the line so that we know that the beach is here. All right? That's important. There's the line for the beach, and then there's the line for the ocean. And then we need to get the ocean colors. We need a beautiful blue for the ocean, which we'll use that blue. We're going to have to use that for the ocean. And then the beach is a very, very light brown or yellow. So we can use a very, very light brown or yellow, which might even appear to be a little bit orange, but that's okay. And then we need the sky, which is an even lighter blue. This sky is such a beautiful light blue. So we'll use that. And also the paper we're using is already a beautiful light blue, so that will work. And then we will color Pete. We're gonna have to use a different color blue than we used for the ocean, and that's what we'll do. We'll do that button. Oh, I think we did it. I think we did it, friends. I think we figured it out, my friends. I think we figured it out. I think we figured it out, my... Look at what we did. Look at what we did. Oh, no. The last button popped off from right there. And it rolled away. I feel like. See, we have the ocean continuing. And then the beach continuing. And the sky continuing. And Pete the cat. You think I should color that shirt yellow? Yeah, me too. You're right. You're right. If the shirt is yellow, the shirt needs to be yellow. Mr. Greg, it is a yellow shirt with 4 groovy buttons. And so if the shirt is yellow, the shirt needs to be yellow. Oh, and his eyes are an orangish color. So we need to make them an orangish color. Goodness gracious. Okay. All right. I think we did it now. What do you think? Yeah! Well, anyway, if you have one button and it rolls away, -1 equals no buttons. Did Pete cry? No. Goodness, no. Mr. Greg would have been super frustrated and possibly crying. And the lesson I need to learn is buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? His belly button! And he kept on singing his song. Now, with his Volkswagen Bug and his surfboard, Pete now has a shirt that is perfectly fit for the... Oh, how cool is that? Now his shirt is perfect for being on his surfboard, and he says it's all good. My button, my belly button, my button still have my belly button. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness, no. We keep on singing. Buttons come and buttons go. Now, I want to share something with you. Pete the cat did not cry. And that was very important for him. But sometimes when I lose very important things, I cry. And I want to tell you something. That is perfectly fine. So by saying, do we cry? Goodness, no. I might even say, sometimes do we cry? Goodness, yes. And once we move through the crying and have felt all of our feelings, it's so important to feel all of your feelings, then we can still sing. And we can still say buttons come and buttons go. I almost thought about crying, but I really appreciated that you were with me when we had to create our Pete the Cat pages. So now, even though it's not the original page, anyone who reads this book will not be stopped in the middle and potentially become frustrated and cry. Because although pages come and pages go, it's very important to have all the pages in a book. All right, I will clean up my markers in a few moments. I'm so happy you were here with me. I will see you tomorrow when we read a classic, I tell you, Professor Wormbog in Search for the Zipperumpazoo by Mercy Mayer. The illustrations, just let me give you a little sneak peek at the illustrations. Take a look at this. Oh, look at me bumping into things. Look at that illustration. My goodness, is it so rich and full of faces, even faces in the tree, and interesting creatures down below, and interesting creatures even in the tiny spaces of the book, all the way in the corner even. All right. Bye.